The candidates of the All Progressives Congress in the last Adamawa State Governorship election, Aisha Binani Dahiru, has filed a lawsuit against Nigeria's Electoral Commission after her decoration as governor was cancelled. She had addressed the press after a supposedly unilateral decoration after the March 8th election, but her victory was overturned after the Independent National Electoral Commission revealed that the state's Resident Electoral Commissioner had acted solely without consulting the commission. And speaking of the suspended Adamawa State Rec. Hudu Yunusa-Ari, a court has stopped the Independent National Electoral Commission from prosecuting him any further. Now, political analyst Professor Sadeeq Abba joins me on this story. Professor Abba, welcome to Politics HQ. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So what we know now is that Aisha Binani is again seeking a judicial review of the decision of INEC to reverse her earlier announcement as winner of the poll by the state's Resident Electoral Commissioner. Her lawyer, Michael Aundoka, argued that it was the Election Petition Tribunal that was vested with the power to decide the fate of his client in accordance with Section 149 of the Electoral Act 2022. And he said that INEC's decision was actually depriving her of Section 285, subsection 6, which actually gave her 180 days within which her petition should be filed before the tribunal. Now, in terms of the validity of her claim, this is her coming back to a court yet again on this judicial review. What do you make of it?
Well, first and foremost, I think in the beginning, the Adamawa State election results was highly controversial. It was complex, very trickish, and shrouded in a lot of politicking, both from the point of view of INEC and from the point of view of the judicial system of Nigeria. It's unfortunate that the political class and the INEC in particular are taking Nigerians along this very showy and uncomfortable path of democracy. Mistakes were made, avoidable, and those mistakes are very avoidable. And I think what Binani is trying to do is to seek redress and way out from the point of view of legality, from the point of view of constitutionalism, and from the point of view of conventional process and procedures that have been a historical way or manner of doing things in Nigeria. So I think first and foremost, we should be able to at least allow her to leverage on the openings and options available to her, so that at least the records of the Adamawa gubernatorial elections of this year will be laid to rest once and for all. So it is all about constitutionalism now. Now it is between her lawyers and the lawyers of INEC. Mm-hmm. I hope and pray the judicial system of Nigeria is matured and honest enough with all their integrity at stake to come out clean and now at least pass the verdict that is going to be acceptable, that's going to be celebrated by all and sundry.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned integrity because some have said that this particular case really sort of strikes at the heart of the Independent National Electoral Commission's integrity. So you have a winner declared by your state's Resident Electoral Commissioner, I beg your pardon, and then the overall national INEC comes back and says that that decision or that announcement was the wrong announcement and basically snatches victory from her. And then so there's a conversation around the processes. If this is a Resident Electoral Commissioner who knows his job and his duties, why is he announcing a victor, a winner, that has not been, quote unquote, certified or gone through the normal processes? How much of the integrity of INEC do you think is also at stake when it comes to this particular case?
You see, first and foremost, in Nigeria, the reality is this. Your contributions, your comments, and your analysis depends wholly on where you are standing, what information is at your disposal, and what narratives do you want to promote and project. Most of those analyses are self-serving and self-motivating. You see, what the INEC commissioner in Adamawa Hudu did was because he was on ground and he knew the processes and the processes were ongoing until the time when the Fufore saga came into play. And nobody was asking how the Forest Saga came into play, who created it, who are the actors behind it. No, Hudu, as the principal actor of the empire at Yola then, knew exactly what was going on, and he took the bull by the horn in order to nip the crisis earlier. And what he did was, I think, within the confines of not law, but politics, to him, he did the right thing. So now the interpretation of what Hudu did right or what Hudu did wrong is subject to legal interpretation of the course of law. And like I've said, INEC has been embroiled in a lot of crises, conflicts, and controversies historically. So what is happening in Adamawa is not even new as far as INEC is concerned. So they are used to it. It's part of their game, and it's part of their own survival as far as the structure is concerned. So what Binani on one side and Hudu on the other side are trying to do is to see how they can, for the first time in the history of elections in Nigeria, be able to now tell that this change should not continue. It's not going to be business as usual. And if some actors believe that they can now put wing and hijack the free, fair electoral processes that was about to produce a winner, will be hijacked by only one local government and turn it against the perceived winner, then I think what they are doing, they're supposed to be heroes of democracy. They're supposed to be political heroes, so that at least they can serve as a judgmental watershed in the history of elections in Nigeria. But look, you cannot eat your cake and have it in Nigeria. The judiciary, as it is claimed to be the last hope of a common man, should come to the rescue of the common man. Because it's not about Hudu now. It's not about Binani as a candidate. It's about the citizens of indigenous of Adamawa State who weathered the storm for months, waiting to make that historical day. And their intentions, their decisions, their choices, their votes were now changed by just jiggling with the result of only one local government, which is called for foreign local government. I think we should not stop there. I think the INEC itself, the security itself, the Nigerian civil society organizations, if at all they exist, should come out and now identify who are those champions of anti-democracy who went to Fufore and changed those particular results to favor something, or who were, if it is Binani that was found wanted, let her face the music. If it is other candidate that faces the music, let them face the music. So that is the ideal situation which Nigerians are looking for now. It is not about Binani, it is not about Hudu, it's not about Fintiri, it's not about APC, OPD, it is about Nigerian citizens. Do they have the right to vote who they want, and it stands, yes or no?
Okay, so I'm going to have to make it about Hudu for just a few minutes because in regards to this same case, as it stands right now, a court has also said that his prosecution should stop. And the reason for that is because given the fact that the petition tribunal, that until the election petition tribunal decides on Binani's fate, in accordance with Section 149 of the Electoral Act, the prosecution of Hudu cannot continue. So these cases are really quite interwoven. They are concurrent as it may be, but they're quite interwoven in terms of how decisions with what happens with one really does affect the other. So what do you make of the fact that now the prosecution that INEC wants of this suspended Adamawa State Rec, which is something that many people have called for, as well as his arrest, but now he's suspended, he's facing trial, is part of this conversation?
Are you new in Nigeria? Are you new in Nigeria?
I have to ask the questions.
Excuse me. In INEC headquarters in 2007, they announced a result of national elections, presidential elections, with only 11 states in their hands. But they announced the presidential winner. And that person came out and said that he was ashamed of the result that brought him into power. And there are a lot of instances across the states of the federation where INEC shamelessly announced results that were questionable. So look, that's what I'm saying. It's not about INEC now. Me, I'm seeing this thing beyond INEC, beyond Hudu. Hudu has the right as a citizen to seek redress and justice. And I'm happy that the court of law, whether rightly or wrongly, because I'm not even comfortable with some of the judgments, whether rightly or wrongly, made that Hudu's prosecution should not continue. So why are we heading to? So it's a head or tail. It is not Hudu losing. It is not APC or PDP losing. It's not even INEC that is losing. Because I've been there for quite some time. Nobody has ever taken INEC to court and got INEC prosecuted in this country. We have had enough of their own excesses. We have had enough of their own shortcomings. They should be prosecuted also. Somebody should take INEC to court and ask INEC to pay for the damages, either personally or institutionally, or what they inflicted on Nigerians. Because you cannot continue having these such as in elections. So if somebody is losing election, let him lose election. If somebody is winning election, let her lose election. So whatever head or tail is a Nigerian like me and you that are losing that case. So Hudu is going to be a champion, because if they stop prosecuting him, he is going to join the club of the previous INEC officers who should change Nigerians in elections and have got free and they enjoying their loot. If Binani loses that election, she's going to join the club. If Interi wins the election, she's going to continue celebrating the fraudulent winners of elections in Nigeria. So look, we should be very honest. We should be very sincere. We should be very objective. We should be very fair in our
So, Professor Abba,
look, even because Nigerian judiciary is on trial now. Is elections by court order. Why should we always go back to court to solve our election problems? Why can't
Professor
we
Abba, because of time, I want to ask it like this, because I need that breakdown. Again, as you said, it's not necessarily about the person of Hudu, but it's about the position that he holds. And there's some need for clarity when it comes to that issue of position. So a lot of conversation around whether or not a resident electoral commissioner has the constitutional power to announce a governorship candidate or a governorship election result, or any result as it may be, when you have a duly appointed returning officer who has the duty of announcing that result. So if the REC does not have that power, then there really should be no standing, no conversation to move forward. So it sort of comes back to the constitutional power, the power also given to the resident electoral commissioners and, of course, returning officers within the Constitution of Nigeria, removing the person of Hudu, because this is a situation that can happen in any state. What is the constitutional power? What is the Constitution saying? And does that then inform moving the case forward?
Excuse me. The Constitution was written for man, not the man for the Constitution. That's number one. Number two, and who told you that a state resident electoral commissioner by a convention has no right to announce the result? What if there is a clear case of matters of national importance, agents of national importance? What if it is a matter of security issues? What if they prescribe or the appointed returning officer of INEC is nowhere to be found for whatever reason?
That's a lot of what ifs. That's a lot of what ifs.
So let me, excuse me, even the Constitution came as a result of what if. The Constitution is not a cut in stone. It's, the way we talk about Constitution in Nigeria, as if it has fallen from heaven. It was made by men and it's subject to alteration and review. So Hudu's decision to announce, let them ask Hudu. What? He's not a stupid one. He's a lawyer for that matter. Unless until you are telling him that Nigerian lawyers are riffraff. Hudu is a celebrated lawyer. He's a competent lawyer. He's a celebrated administrator and a competent administrator. So he knew exactly what he was doing within the ambit of the law and by convention. So if it is against the Constitution of Nigeria, because we have never witnessed such in the past, if the convention signal the necessity of Hudu to announce the result based on the reality on ground in Adamawa State at the end. So let them investigate this and let them interrogate this issue to its final conclusions. You'll begin to appreciate that who did the right thing. He should be a national hero. He should be given national awards.
All right, Professor Sadeeq Abba, political analyst, we have to leave the conversation at this for now. And it is a case that is ongoing both on Binani's side and Hudu's side, and we'll continue to follow it very closely. So we look forward to having you back. Thank you so much this evening for joining me.
Thank you. I hope Nigeria will find it easy. Thanks.
We hope so too. And the conversations, of course, are ones that continue right here on Politics HQ, where we put Africa first, where we put a spotlight on Nigeria's political conversations of the day. Don't forget to stay with us. We're, of course, on social media at News Central TV. I'm Tolulope. Adeleru-Balogun. Do have a pleasant evening. I'll see you again soon.